Good evening, everyone. It is April 15th, 2023. This is our weekly outlook for next week on the ES. Before we do that, I just want to recap what we had this past week. Now, I was looking for, with FOMC minutes and CPI on Wednesday, I was looking for a quieter trade Monday and Tuesday, and that's what we had. Monday holding last week's lows, so we held that last week's range like I was looking for, and then Tuesday was extremely quiet, just nothing really happening, a late day ramp, and then just slammed down once again. Now, Wednesday was where I was looking for us to break last week's range, and we did with CPI hitting the market pre-market. We broke the upside, yet we're unable to hold it at all. I've been watching that 41.75 number for oh god, weeks if not months, and we sold right off of it and just liquidated down. And that's when I didn't have much confidence in the bulls at all. I said I've got zero confidence in bulls as they have not held 4170s, and there was just no follow through to the upside there. Now Thursday, what I was looking for was the whale to continue sitting on this thing. I wanted to see them sit on it between 41.28.32, and instead they got squeezed out, and you can really see that with all just those green bars coming up on that Thursday, just nonstop. I think we closed with 5 sets of single prints. Um, just absolutely ridiculous. To me, that was just a major fail by the whale there. And then Friday was going to be sort of the test to me. So Wednesday we had the low close and then the fail by the sellers. Thursday we had the high close, and to me, I wanted to see if we could finally break this 41, 83 to 91 zone I've had for weeks and months as well, and we were unable to do so. We got up to that 88 number on some heavy volume. However, the nicey tick was not really that crazy. It was, I think, printing 5 to 700. No, not like it wasn't printing repeated 1,000 ticks or anything like that. So we could really see that was just someone trying to push out that whale seller, and instead, the seller did end up winning. However, we were unable to break any major downside structure. We still held that 28 to 32 zone on Friday's lows. I think they came in at 41.38, right around that quarterly close. I think that is the quarterly close at 41.38. So, to me, although, yeah, sure, the seller held out the major breakout level that leads us up another 50 points and out of this February range, they did not really break any downside structure. So right now, I've got to kind of say the bulls have this for now. Uh, the bulls held last week's VWAP -2 standard deviation, and to the upside, they got up to standard deviation 3. And then objectively, they've held that 41.28.32. They broke it on Thursday, and they held it again on Friday. So to me, the bulls have this in hand for now. And let's go into what I'm looking at now for the week coming. Uh, why is my pivot around 41.44? Well, 41.44 is now where we've developed a weekly point of control, weekly halfback, and we're weekly VWAP close. So that's going to be an important pivot for the week coming. Now, important to note that we have, when we stayed inside this balance during February, we stayed inside it for about 2 weeks and then finally got our directional move. We've had the exact same thing happen now. It's funny. This came at the end of January, and we enter this balance in February. Exact same thing, coming into this balance end of the month, and then opening and staying within it for 2 months. However, you can see this looks very different. If you wanted to roughly draw a shape, you could see repeated highs being aggressively sold every time we're getting here, whereas now you're seeing more of a sort of U shape coming in to me, which looks a little more accumulatory. So that's how I'm looking at this. Is that we've spent 2 weeks in this range, much like we did in February, and I think we'll be getting our directional move this week. And to me, the bears have fumbled. The whale has seriously fumbled. And on Friday, we should have had that liquidation down further. However, there was none to be found. Instead, it was this very slow creep downwards, with no notable follow through, no notable break in structures to the downside. Uh, News-wise, Empire Manufacturing 8:30 on Monday, Thursday unemployment, some Waller talk, existing home sales, Friday flash PMI. There is a lot of smaller stuff. Basebook, I think 2 p.m. on Wednesday, but a bunch of smaller stuff throughout the week. However, nothing crazy major this week. Maybe unemployment numbers, maybe flash PMI, but there's no FOMC minutes, there's no CPI, there's no GDP, none of that stuff this week. So The way I'll be looking at this is above 41.44. It's going to be hard to be short. If we can get below that, if we can get below last week's VWAP, below last week's halfback, below last week's point of control where all the volume was done, if we can get below all that, then I could see us going ahead and taking a visit to 41, 41.03 to 13. If we break that, I don't really think we're going to have that emergency bid at 40.82 that I had there last week. The thought being is that now you've got 2 weeks of inventory above you, and the bulls at that point would have decidedly failed, in my opinion, failing that 41.88 breakout. Now to the upside, and if we do that, break that 41.03 and take out these weekly lows here at 40.96 and 98, if we break these weekly lows, 2 weekly lows, I think we're coming back down to 4,009. I think we're going to close that gap down at 4,009, 9.5, 9.25, whatever it is. I think that's what we'll get. To the upside, I think it's time we visit these highs here. 42.30, that's a gap close. There's a monthly high, a quarterly high at 42.08. There's a just a tick higher. There's an old weekly point of control here, and then we enter a gap up to 42.30. Now, if we break that, we're going to start flirting with where we had multiple highs in this April, May, and then when we flush the stops and then we came back below in August, that's what we'll be looking at next as the major key area of interest. I know this is a wide zone. It's 34 points. But I think that'll be our next area of interest. Does it happen this week? I'm not too sure. But that's how I'm looking at this. For now, I think it's hard to be short. I think it's also important to remember, just on a large scale, we haven't made a new low in this bear market since October. All right, October 9, if I remember. October 13, there we go. 35.09, I think, was the low. 35.04, 09, whatever it was. And ever since then, it's been... we had a nice uptrend, and we've chopped sideways, and it looks like if we take out this high, it looks like we'll be beginning a nice leg upwards. So overall, I would be careful to just have this nonstop bear bias when the price action is dictating otherwise. I'm a day trader, but it's important. It's important to have a little bit of a higher time frame view here and there. And to me, so far, I just haven't seen evidence of the bear stepping in. When we had this week, when we poked it down into this December January balance, we got a strong reaction upwards, held that balance, came up above, and then we started holding it that week. If you recall correctly, we kept holding these 39.40s, 1, 2, 3 days. Got our huge ripper to the upside, balanced again, and it looks like if we break this 41.88, go to 42.30. It's hard to think that we're not going to get up to 4,300, but we'll see. Now I'm just rambling. So anyway, 41.40-ish, my pivot on the week. Below there, I think we take a visit to 41.13 to 03, see if we can hold it. If not, I think we crap out. To the upside, if we start breaking 76, I think we visit 88 again. I don't really think it's going to hold, and I think we go to 42.30, if not higher. So anyway, hope that helps. Hope that makes sense, and I'll get a weekly video going up for the Qs pretty soon here. Have a great night, and trade safe on Sunday if you are.